We're going to have a fella fly off the river, though, for you. He's going to take off on floats once Discovery 1 gets around us here. But this area used to be very busy. And we might show you a video of that before. We're going to do it now. On the video, this is a little old-time footage of Fouts Field over here on the left. And the fellow off and around on the trail. Well, I know that you and Susan put in a whole bunch of trails here, and these guys actually go out with Laura in the mornings, take little walks, overcome obstacles?
Absolutely. You know, our walks, we've got trails that go right down here along the river out until the Tanana, and there are opportunities for these little guys to actually bond and learn something from the older dogs, ones that have retired from active racing, because what I think is that retired dogs are actually the most important dogs in the kennel because they teach the younger generation all the tricks of the trades. Because the older guys are, expert in listening to commands, they've raced a lot. And so we go on walks with the older dogs and the pups follow them. As we go on the trails, the pups follow the old retired dogs, and they go through trees and bushes, ravines, water, whatever they encounter, the older dog takes them through. And then when they get way out in front of us, we'll call that dog back. Of course, that dog, being well trained, runs back to us, and the puppies follow them back. And by doing that time and again, the puppies eventually learn a couple things that are important. Number one, they learn to listen for my voice. Now, that's incredibly important when we start teaching commands, that they're always listening. But the second, and the more important, is to always follow that lead dog, because the older dogs will bring them home, and that really pays dividends when they go out on the trail.
Well, now, of course, they'll get into harness at a certain age, and what is there a certain age you look for, or how do you figure that out?
Well, you know, going into harness, in my opinion, is not something about age. It's about ability, you know. So it usually happens about 6 months, but it's not, I look at each one of these little guys and I say, are you ready to succeed? So, of course, physically they have to be ready. Yet they've got to learn how to be part of the team and contribute. So they'll run in the middle like these 10 other dogs I have. Now, team dogs, of course, as I said, provide power. Today, for the distance I'm going, the weight I'm pulling, I only need 11 dogs. But there'll be times when I have a real heavy load that, or I'm going a long way, so I might need up to 20 dogs. And 20 dogs will go out to the end of that building, over 100 feet for me. So you can tell how much I have to have a good lead dog and how much power I have. So really, this four-wheeler is for nothing but me to ride on. I don't need any power, so I modified it a couple of ways. Number one, I removed the engine. You can see there's nothing in there because I've got all the power I need. The second thing is I've reinforced these brakes that you'll see me holding here. But these brakes wouldn't hold me if I wasn't tied off to this big heavy rope here. And so as soon as we have the last dogs put in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off, I'm going to go around here, across on the other side of the lake, and when I get over there, I'm going to try and give you a call and let you know how the run is going. So
okay, we're going to put a watch on.
I hope you enjoy it. I can't hold it much longer, so I'm going to take off here.
Just a second. I tell you what.
They're ready to go.
All right. Now listen to how quiet it gets.
All right.
Look at this.
Oh,
the knot stuck. Oh boy. Good luck with
what
that.
happened here? Oh, it's hooked on there. Somehow it's...
There's no backing up now.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well, that was interesting.
Now, these are...
Walk up there with him, trying to
Would you guys like to learn a youth?
Mean.
This next one here is a lynx. It's very closely related to the bobcat, except that it has twisted ears. big snowshoe-like paws to keep it on top of the snow, and a short, stubby tail. These next two, 1 second, I don't know where that plane is. This one is a red fox, this one is a silver fox. One day, they crossed paths and created the cross fox. The cross between the first two. This last fox is an Arctic fox. It's in its winter coat to blend in with the snow. In the summer, it turns a chocolatey brown to blend in with the ground. These next little guys are ermine. We also have them in their winter coat. In the summer, they also turn a chocolatey brown. Then we just call them weasels. Is anyone from Texas? Welcome to the big state of Alaska, where we playfully refer to these little guys as our Texas-sized polar bears. Just kidding, Texas. This next one is a muskrat. It was used to make the body of the parka we just saw. It would take 30 to 40 of these little guys just to make one medium-sized parka. So you can tell, a parka is a labor of love. This one here is a martin. The Athabascans would use it to make hats. They would place one on each side and then one down the middle. Then the tail would be left on for decoration. I'm sure some of you ladies may recognize this one. Yep, it's a mink. It actually wasn't very valuable to the Athabascans. They'd actually give it to their daughters to practice sewing on.
To do what?
But after mines, it became known as the money pelt. This last pelt here is a beaver. It was valuable to the Athabascans because it had a short, waterproof, warm underhair, and then it had these long guard hairs. Does anyone know what beaver meat might taste like?
Chicken.
We don't know. Beaver meat is considered a delicacy in our culture, so it's given to the elders first out of respect at our potlatches. So by the time they get around to Hannah and I, there's no more beaver meat left. I'm going to pass it back over to Hannah for some last minute announcements.
Yep. And in the lower 48, husky, most people think of as a Siberian husky. And these guys are huskies. It's a little bit different than the Siberian husky that we think of when we think of husky. What movies have in them. They usually have in those movies. And it's kind of a false impression of what the Alaskan husky is, what the true race dogs are. If you go to races, this is what the dogs will look like. Yeah. They can race between age 2 to the oldest that I've heard of doing the Iditarod race was 12. So that would be kind of the end of the spectrum. You can do sprint racing, so short, fast races, as early as a year old.